Hi, you have Chris and Eli here from Landlord Gurus, and today we're going to talk about one of the property management software companies, services that a lot of our followers and subscribers have had good luck with. So there are lots of property management software products out there. We've written about pretty well all of them, and so today we're just going to talk about Azibo and what differentiates them, and try to give you an idea of what might make this a product that really fits your needs. So we're going to give you an overview of the features. We'll let you know about pricing, highlights, some alternatives, and we'll just give you our takeaway on what Azibo offers and try and give you the full picture. So Chris is going to talk to us about the features that Azibo offers.
Sure. So yeah, I'll just start with the quick rundown of all the features that Azibo offers, and also include one glaring feature that they do not offer, which is interesting, but makes sense. But we'll start with what they have. So applications, they've like all the others we talk about, they do offer free online applications. What they do is they pre-fill them with standard prompts and questions like your name, the tenant's name, email, phone number. Ask with a desired move-in date, rental history, and that kind of thing.
And that's all online, right, Chris?
It's all through their platform. You'll send them a link. They will get that and start filling it out. Once they fill out the applications, they can run through tenant screening, which includes a full credit report, identity validation, criminal history report, eviction records report. And in this case, the applicants will cover the cost. The landlord does not. And that cost is $39.99.
Which is pretty standard in the industry.
Pretty standard. Then, if you decide to move forward with them, you can move into lease agreements. They do partner with Rocket Lawyer, where you can create a custom state-specific lease agreement. It's got a user-friendly interface. The platform will automatically populate kind of the core lease terms that they pull from the application. That does have a fee to it, and that's $29.99 to the landlord to create and sign one of their lease agreements. What is interesting, what they do have is, if you're part of a rental housing association that Azibo has a partnership with, and I think right now there's a couple in California, they're looking at some others around the country. But if you're a member of one of these associations and you get your leases from them, they'll automatically, through the association, import those documents and those leases right into their platform. So then you can log in, they validate that you're a member, and you can say, I want a lease, and they'll pull that up, and it'll automatically be pre-populated. You can then have the tenant sign those electronically through the platform as well. So it's great. And if you don't have an association, you can use one of their Rocket Lawyer 50-state leases. But if you do have something that's more robust, and I know here in Seattle, we need to have those more robust leases. So if you do belong to an association, then you can have those documents as part of your Azibo agreement, as part of your Azibo platform.
And that's a unique feature that we haven't seen anybody else partner with rental housing associations in that way.
Exactly. Yep. As part of the lease signing process, you can also require your renters to have renter's insurance. And they can purchase that through Azibo. Azibo is a seller of renter insurance, or they can upload their own proof of insurance that they get separately. They do offer online rent collection, where your tenants can pay you by credit card, debit, or ACH. Sort of the key standouts that we notice are you can monitor the rent payment status through your dashboard. You can allow or block partial payments, which we've talked about before, and some of the advantages and disadvantages of partial payments. You can set up and enforce late fees automatically, and you can customize them based on your lease terms. So, if you're in Seattle and you can only charge $10 in late fees, then it'll automatically do that for you. But if you're somewhere else where you can set that yourself, it will pull that from your lease as well. You can also track security deposits through the Azibo platform, from collection to the return at the end of their lease term. What Azibo also has is banking. Not too many other platforms out there that have their own banking services, but you can open up a bank account directly. We've talked many times before about the benefits of having a landlord bank account. So if you do want one, you can set that up through Azibo. You can also link outside bank accounts, and you can link credit cards that'll automatically track your payments that you might make to vendors. And you can do bill pay through Azibo. So you can log into Azibo, and if you got to pay your utilities, or you got to pay your mortgage, you can do that all through Azibo, and it'll automatically track those into the bookkeeping functionality, which we'll get into right now. The bookkeeping that Azibo offers, it's a very sophisticated rental property accounting and bookkeeping that has been developed specifically for rental property and property managers. You can split your transactions across different properties, different units. You can create rules that will automatically categorize your transactions, based on what the transaction is and who's it going to. And, what they say is some landlords can save, up to 80 or 90% of their bookkeeping, of their time spent doing their bookkeeping tasks by having all this automated landlord specific accounting and bookkeeping through Azibo.
And they don't have to pay QuickBooks for a similar platform that doesn't automatically know about categories for real estate, for example. Right.
Yeah.
So, and all of your transactions from, especially rent, that's an automatic record keeping that will go, port right into the bookkeeping function. And, then you can do your bill pay as well.
Exactly. Yeah, and maintenance and tracking. The tenants can send and initiate maintenance tasks. They can send you pictures, they can send you messages about things that might need to be fixed. Similarly, as the landlord, you can request more information, but all the communication can take place through their platform so that it's all there. You can schedule appointments with them through the app. Yeah, so it's pretty easy. And then finally, landlord insurance. Azibo actually is the only national insurance provider dedicated to rental property owners. So you can go to the Azibo site, whether you are an Azibo member or not, even, I think, and you can request a quote directly through their website. So they offer a lot, and as I mentioned, one thing that you may have noticed that they don't offer is the advertising and listing function of that. But there are reasons for that, and Zillow is kind of the big player in that field, so it's maybe hard to break in. And then we've talked about it before, that Zillow is making it even more difficult for others to get their listings posted on Zillow.
It seems virtually impossible at this point. You pretty well have to do it separately. So, Chris, how about I take some of these highlights? Some of it's a recap of what you just went through. We recently talked to the CEO of Azibo, and he really enforced that truly free ACH, which is an electronic form of payment, bank to bank. Azibo's kind of the platform that holds the landlord's banking information and the tenants. So it's secure on both sides, but you can make, the tenants can make rent payments there. That stands out as, truly free, where there are fees associated in most other cases. This service, where they are partnering with the rental housing associations in different locations and a growing number of locations, stands out. That's very unique. The landlord dashboard we found to be really user-friendly, and it gives you what you want to see right there: the status of all the rent payments, what's processing, what's paid, and expiration, for example, on leases. They'll notify you when you've got leases coming up that are about to expire. And then the bill pay as a part of the banking feature capability there with Azibo stands out as well, because you have the choice to have an Azibo bank account and do your bill pay there, which is all then automatically tracked in your bookkeeping there. So that's unique, but you still also have the option to link outside bank accounts and credit cards and then import those. So there's a lot of flexibility and a lot of functionality there. So
yeah, I think it's, again, the truly free ACH, right? Tenants don't have to pay for ACH payments. Landlords don't have to pay. That really is the highlight. Great. Areas for improvement. So I talked about, the no listings, no advertising feature through Azibo, but that, again, Zillow makes it hard to syndicate those listings to them. So if you are going to use Azibo, and you'd probably do this anyways, you would post your listing on Zillow. We talked about it before, that just get it out to Zillow, get it out to Facebook, Craigslist, wherever, the more I think really is the better. So, go list on wherever. Yeah.
That's where most of my leads come from, are Zillow or the Zillow network, which is HotPads and Trulia, as well as the Zillow site. I probably get 2/3 of my leads there. I get another 20% from Craigslist, maybe more. And then when I'm advertising on other platforms, I'll get a little trickle from places like PadMapper or Zumper, that type of thing.
And that all may differ based on your location and markets and things. Another area for improvement is there's no reference checking feature. I know, Eli, you've used others that have this in the past, and you really like that.
I do. Yeah. The kind of the automatic email that goes out to the past landlords that the tenant has provided information for, an automatic email goes out to. So it's a small but a nice feature to have, so that you don't have to formulate those emails or make calls yourself. It's automatic. So, yeah.
Yeah, and then we talked about the in-app messaging feature and the ability to set an appointment with your tenant. When I saw that, I thought it might be great to be able to, like a Calendly type function where you or your tenant can set have a list of available times where, to allow a handyman to go in there and make the repairs. But that isn't there yet. It's something that the CEO said he thought might be a cool feature for the future. And that's the thing about Azibo. They're continuing to work on their product and they continue to roll out new features. So yeah, you never know what might be out there next.
So let's talk about pricing. Azibo stands out as a product that you can use entirely free. And the key to that is the ACH rent payment is truly free, whereas in most other cases, it's not. So some of the core features that you have access to without any kind of a paid membership, actually, they don't have subscription levels. It's a la carte, and I'll get into that in a second. But without any type of payment, you can do online, rent collection, the applications, that landlord banking, as well as the accounting and bookkeeping features are entirely free. That stands out for sure. There are some services that's actually add-on. And so, that's a unique and really powerful feature. That maintenance coordination that Chris talked about, the in-app messaging and photos about maintenance issues. So those things you can use entirely for free. And then Chris, you want to talk a little bit about where some of the expenses do come in?
Right. So there are some additional paid features, like in this case, how does Azibo make money, right? If everything that you talked about there is free, but they do charge for some other features, and they're all optional. You don't have to do them. But custom state specific lease agreements with the e-signature. So like we talked about before, if you're not part of one of these associations and you need to use one of their Rocket Lawyer 50 state specific leases, that's going to cost you $29.99. Tenant screenings, again, $39.99. They're paid by the applicant. The rent, if you allow your tenants to pay rent with, or they want to pay with a credit or debit card, it will charge them a 2.99% transaction fee.
Very standard, though.
Yeah,
you're not going to find any service that doesn't charge that or more.
Exactly. There is optional rent payment reporting to the credit bureaus, and we've talked about this before. A lot of tenants like to have that so they can improve their credit. It's also great for the landlord, and that it sort of incentivizes the tenants to pay on time. So if your tenant chooses to do that, Azibo will send their rent payment reporting at $4.99 a month, which is paid by the tenant. Other additional services, landlord insurance we talked about, so you can request a quote through their site. Renters insurance they offer, which that's paid by the tenant. And then, it's probably the last feature, which probably isn't going to affect, most of our, listeners here, but is premium onboarding. So if you've got larger portfolios and you need to kind of onboard all of your tenants in all your properties, and it's too much for you to handle, they will do that for a one-time fee of $300. Where I think they will kind of do that for you, help you, walk you through that, as opposed to doing that yourself. But otherwise, it's not that hard to do on your own. If you've only got a handful of properties, it's not that hard.
So we did identify a couple of alternatives, and we picked these out as products that kind of have some little bit of a different twist, which might meet your needs in different ways. Rent Ready is a great full-featured property management software in a similar way that Azibo is, but they have an add-on feature where you can have a service that fields all your maintenance requests, and they'll actually go as far as dispatching vendors so that you don't get those 2 a.m. Phone calls, which is nice. Avail is another property management software platform that we've talked a lot about, totally full-featured. Many of these similar functions that we talk about. That's the one that does that automatic email reference checking. And Turbo Tenant, which has all these features and also has an add-on through REI Hub, which is a very robust accounting tool. So again, that is an add-on, but it's a standout that is not as common in other products. So Chris, you're going to talk about kind of what your takeaway for Azibo is.
Yeah. Sort of the key standout for me is Azibo's automated bookkeeping functionality. It's very robust. Again, like we talked about, some users claim that 80 to 90% of their bookkeeping tasks can be automated through Azibo. So that would save a ton of time to keep everything organized, get it to your bookkeepers or your accountants. And then, again, Eli talked about it. They've got a really easy to use, easy to navigate dashboard. So right when you log on, you can see everything you need to see. You can see the most important things that you need to see right off the bat. So it's a great option for landlords looking to streamline their workloads, save your time, save a bunch of time with the bookkeeping, and hopefully grow your business. How about you?
And for
what do you
me,
like about it?
Yeah. For me, my key takeaway is some of these features, some of which Chris talked about, that stand out. So it's these association relationships that they have where the really granular states or state and city specific leases are imported, and you use it straight through their platform and have access to all the other features that Azibo offers. So that's a standout. Like Chris said, the accounting and banking functions, and then the free ACH payments. That's going to be where a lot of people find us, is looking for online rent payment solutions, and they have one that's really truly free. So that's pretty well it for our discussion about Azibo, and we'd be happy to answer any questions if any come up. And we'd love it if you would like, subscribe, share this, come to the site and search for whatever it is you're looking for. We try to get good information out for independent landlords like ourselves. So we hope you'll come back again for the next one.
Thanks for watching.
Yeah, keep watching. Thanks very much.